Okay, everyone, let's move to next part of the human skeletal system. What is it? The thorax. The human thorax, commonly referred to as the rib cage, is a bony cage-like structure that forms the chest region of the body. The rib cage consists of 12 pairs of ribs that are attached to the thoracic vertebrae in the back and the sternum, breastbone, in the front. It encloses and protects vital organs such as the heart, lungs, and major blood vessels, while also providing attachment points for muscles involved in respiration and upper limb movement. Let's explore in detail the anatomy of the thorax and its functions. How is the anatomy of the thorax like? Let's talk about the ribs. The rib cage consists of 12 pairs of ribs, which are curved, flat bones that form a protective cage around the chest cavity. The ribs are attached to the thoracic vertebrae of the spine at the back and the sternum, breastbone, at the front. Next is the sternum, breastbone. The sternum is a flat bone located in the center of the chest, vertically. It consists of 3 parts: the manubrium, top part, the body, and the xiphoid process, pointy part at the bottom most, little lower than the nipple line. The ribs articulate with the sternum via cartilaginous joints called costal cartilages. So, what are costal cartilages? Cartilaginous extensions of the ribs articulate with the sternum through costal cartilages. These cartilages provide flexibility and allow for slight movement of the rib cage during respiration. Now, what do we call the space between 2 ribs? The spaces between adjacent ribs are known as intercostal spaces. They contain muscles, nerves, and blood vessels that supply the chest wall and aid in breathing. What are the functions of the thorax? First function of the thorax is to protect of organs. The primary function of the thorax is to protect the vital organs located within it, including the heart, lungs, and major blood vessels. The rib cage acts as a bony shield, absorbing and distributing the force of external impacts to minimize damage to these organs. Next function of the thorax is for respiration. The thorax plays a crucial role in the process of respiration, which involves the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide between the body and the environment. During inhalation, the rib cage expands as the diaphragm contracts and moves downward, creating negative pressure in the chest cavity and drawing air into the lungs. During exhalation, the rib cage recoils as the diaphragm relaxes, pushing air out of the lungs. Another function of the thorax is to support for upper limbs. The thorax provides a stable base of support for the attachment of muscles involved in the movement of the upper limbs. Muscles such as the pectoralis major and latissimus dorsi, which originate from the thorax, play important roles in arm movement and shoulder stability. Does the thorax help with human posture and movement? Yes. The structure of the thorax helps maintain proper posture and alignment of the spine. The ribcage also contributes to the flexibility and mobility of the torso, allowing for movements such as bending, twisting, and rotating. How about the blood cell production? Within the thoracic vertebrae and the sternum, red bone marrow is present. Red bone marrow, as we know, is responsible for producing red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets through a process called hematopoiesis. Lastly, the thorax function is heat regulation. The thorax, along with other parts of the body, helps regulate body temperature by facilitating heat exchange with the environment. During periods of increased physical activity or exposure to high temperatures, blood vessels in the skin of the thorax dilate to dissipate heat, while during cold conditions, they constrict to conserve heat. In summary, the thorax is a vital anatomical region of the body, responsible for protecting vital organs, facilitating respiration, supporting upper limb movement, maintaining posture, producing blood cells, and regulating body temperature. Its complex anatomy and multifunctional role highlight its importance in overall human physiology and well-being.